Hey, it's Marge and Lara in Chinatown on the close of Lunar New Year. We're here with Truman, who is third generation operator of Jing Fong, which we all recently heard is closing its indoor dining. Oh, very sad. Hey, Truman.
Hey, guys.
So thank you for meeting with us on this auspicious day. Just can you tell us a little history of Jing Fong and your family's relationship to it?
Sure. Jing Fong has been around since 1978. We originally were next door, where there's a hotel now. And my grandfather was one of the co-founders back then. He was a minority shareholder and a silent partner. And over the years, he kind of accumulated and became a majority shareholder. And we moved up to this current location where we're the largest Chinese restaurant and possibly largest restaurant in Manhattan in 1993. And we've been here ever since. So we've been around for, 41 years? 43 years. 43 years now. Yeah. Wow.
We heard you're the largest restaurant in the largest Chinese restaurant in the Northeast, actually. Is that true?
That I'm not sure. I can only speak for the surrounding area that I know.
That's amazing. So how are you faring during the pandemic? Obviously, we know that Chinatown has taken a huge hit. And what's coming up for Jing Fong?
So unfortunately, the pandemic has basically decimated our business. With all the restrictions, lack of tourism, lack of people going to work, coming out, our business has declined significantly. We're down 80 to 85% revenue compared to a year ago. It just feels like we're not getting enough state and federal aid. So we're kind of forced into a situation where we really can no longer survive. Especially in a place like this that's this big where we're really not allowed to do business. So we're hopeful that in our next step that we're able to find something that we can downsize into, that at least we can provide some jobs to our staff that has been with us for so long. We have many people who have been with us for, in the 20, 30 year range. They've literally had their entire careers here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're gonna miss this place and the cards going all around. And how are you celebrating Lunar New Year? And what's the significance of it this year?
This year, honestly, we're not really celebrating. We've really just been working, trying to do whatever sales we can. Everyone kind of does their family get-togethers if they can. They try to socially distance, and they still celebrate it, but on a much smaller scale. Everyone's trying to stay safe, and everyone's just saying, hopefully this year is better than last.
Yeah. How do you can jump in if you want, Lara.
Before we get to some of the more heavy-duty stuff, can you tell us what the name of the restaurant actually means?
Jing Fong. It pretty much is. Jing is gold in Chinese, and Feng is it basically means prosperity and wealth. So it's supposed to bring happiness and kind of prosperity.
Beautiful. Well represented in the dragons. Do you have some really great memories growing up here? Any kind of stories about?
Or that you've heard from your grandparents or parents?
I was. My grandfather kind of took care of me for he was my primary kind of babysitter for a good year or two when I was really young, while my parents were working. So we all lived in the same building back then. So there are a lot of pictures and memories of even the old spot. He used to take me to work every day with him, and I was running around in that restaurant. So I have a lot of memories there. And then one of the more recent memories was my sister got married here, and we transformed the whole place, and it just looked like a completely different space. Even my aunt at one point came up to me that night and asked me where the bathroom was. So that was nice. At least we got one last really great celebration in the space before.
Wow. When was that?
That was maybe 2 years ago now.
Wow. Congratulations. Incredible. And yeah, any other funny stories about things you've seen here or like moments that meant a lot to you?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and since you brought up this carpeted stoop for this interview, what was stoop culture like growing up for you? Was there a stoop culture in Chinese,
So I don't
culture,
have
or?
personal stoop culture in Chinatown, but I do remember when I was growing up in Brooklyn, we lived in a house. My grandparents lived in a one of those, I guess, townhouses that had a nice long stoop, and we were playing, red light, green light, 1, 2, 3 on that. So I remember that stoop.
Oh, that's awesome. What part of Brooklyn was that?
It was in Bay Ridge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you get it. You get it.
We also waited for the ice cream truck.
Oh, that's a perfect
yeah.
landing spot.
Mr. Softy. Well, so do you
I
want
guess,
to?
yeah, I mean, on a serious note, we don't want to, dwell on all the negative, but really we want to be here as a support, and it's impossible to ignore all the anti-Asian sentiment, especially at the beginning of the pandemic and now at this point. And
Even just last night, there was an attack.
yeah,
nearby, so.
all the unprovoked assaults, and we just wanted to hear your take, and also if you have any thoughts on just the reaction, because we've kept up with the news and we know that even the anti-Asian hate groups, I mean the task force, they're volunteer run from what we understand. Do you have any
Yeah, so
thoughts?
I mean, there's a lot of news media and coverage on these issues, and we do see there's some, like you said, some groups out there that are out there to protect the civilians in the streets and stuff. I personally have not seen any kind of racial injustices happening around me, and so I don't have any firsthand accounts of that kind of stuff. I just whenever the issue of race comes up to me, I always just say, regardless of your views, your skin color, your beliefs, just treat everyone with respect, right? Like, that's it. There's nothing else to it. If you treat someone with respect, that resolves pretty much every issue. And I also think it's important to point out that our business has not been affected by racism and xenophobia. Our business has been affected mostly by the restrictions and the fear of COVID, more than anything else. Especially in the very beginning, before it was declared a pandemic, a lot of our sales drops has been from Chinese people themselves who were socially distancing early, right? So they were not coming out. And I just want to make sure that that's out there, that while there's probably racism and xenophobia happening out there, that's not the reason why we're closed, right? Because we have a lot of great support from customers who are not Asian, right? Who are tourists, who are from all walks of life, and we have a really diverse group of customers that we really appreciate. So I don't want the feeling out there that there was racism towards us, because that's definitely not the case.
How do you feel though about the attacks that you've seen, in the news and stuff?
I mean, I think it's definitely sad, and I think there's a lot of I guess narratives, and some of it is media pushed, and some of it is just people not knowing what's really happening. And I don't have a view on that. I just, like I said, I try to treat everyone I know with respect, and even though I disagree with you, it doesn't mean we have to get in an argument about it. I can just walk away and we just disagree, that's it.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to have strong views on everything.
Yeah. Well, so anything else that you want to share about your community, about Chinatown? There's been so much love to try to keep Chinatown alive, and
yeah, I mean, I think Chinatown is definitely facing a very difficult period right now, but I think you could say that about all of Manhattan.
Yeah.
So I just encourage people to go support their local businesses to the best of their ability. I know a lot of people are struggling themselves, and I'm going to keep saying the same thing. I just hope the federal government and state government step up and do the right thing. And just one thing I thought of is we actually have not a lot, but we have some high school kids who are working here part-time,
Oh, nice.
And, you know, we've developed a bond now with them between the last few months, between us and these really young kids and, you know, our chefs, because we see each other almost every day. And, you know, we're really careful about things, but I think it's important to point out that they're really struggling at home too, right? Like, a lot of them are not the most well-off people, and they don't have school right now. They can't bond with people, and like, we have some of them that live in the area, and they come to work, and when their shift is done, I'm just, why don't you go home? They're just, I don't want to go home. There's nothing to do at home.
Oh.
There's nobody to talk to. So they stay here and kind of hang out with the other kids their age, or talk with the chefs, and it gives them a sense of like family. And even when we said, oh, we're closing here, and they're like, you guys are moving though, right? Where are we moving to next?
Oh.
Because they already want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, I think it's really important to say that, because whatever's happening with schools and all that stuff, we need to do better, right? Because these kids are not bad kids, right? Everybody just wants to be part of something and come together, and I think they're really starting to feel lonely out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So if how can the community support you guys as you transition to the next location?
I'd say the same thing. If we're lucky enough to find a spot that works for us, you know, we're just hopeful to see you at some point in the dining room, or, you know, takeout, delivery. Anything helps.
Awesome. Well, we just had a great meal outside,
And lots of leftovers.
and lots of leftover dumplings under the heat lamp. So, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Truman. Anything
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and can you just tell people, so when is your actual official last day, and are you doing any sort of a closing
So
ceremony of sorts?
our official last day indoors is March 7th. I believe that's a Sunday. And then, so we're in the process of scoping out the area to see if there's anything available that works for us. And so we'll probably be out of here, even in the kitchen, probably by end of May.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck to you guys. We'll be thinking of you and following you to your next location.
Thank you.
And thank you for also just being real New Yorkers. I think circling back to what you said at the beginning, and I'm so glad you didn't experience any of the, you know, the issues that were going on with all the anti-Asian hate. And it sounds like you really just need the support, like every other New York restaurant and person. They need help, and we want to get the word out. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Truman.
Yep.
All right. From the stoops to the storefronts and indoors. Bye.